I've watched about 8 different games of Decatur. They're very good. Any team you play this time of year is going to be very good. And Coach Burgess has done a great job with that program over there. It's going to be loud in there. That you've probably been to that stadium before.
Mm-hmm.
It's, enclosed by those apartment buildings, and, it holds that sound in there. They're going to have a huge crowd. They have big crowds even in their, regular season games. So, our kids are ready. They're excited about this environment. They've been trained for this. They've played in a lot of big environments, loud places over the last couple of years. You've been there at some of them. They played at Rome last year. That place was a madhouse. Played at McIntosh. That place was a madhouse. So these kids all know what it's going to be like. How they react. They're teenagers. We'll see. This is a test of their maturity. If they want to win a state title, this is the hurdle they have to jump over. So.
And we will be there tonight. I can't thank you enough for dropping in early on your lunch hour. Go get some lunch.
Yep.
Travel plans. When are you leaving?
Like 4:00, 4:15. I'm sure everybody's aware in Atlanta now that 285 is shutting down today. So, it's going to be a madhouse, especially after the game. It's more, I don't want to be on the road still when they start to close the road at 6. So that's when they've said they're going to start putting the cones out. So we've had to do a lot of research just on getting to Decatur tonight, and talking to Georgia Department of Transportation to figure out what was going on.
Yeah. 400 south, 85 north. And then at that time of day, you can either get off at North Druid and get to Claremont, or get off at Claremont and go straight Claremont into the city of Decatur. And then you do kind of the loop around and all. I'm a DeKalb County kid. That's why
I used to live down a Little 5 Points, so I wasn't too far away from it. So I get it. So
yeah. All right. Yes, exactly. Do that. And we will see you tonight, my friend. It'll be great to be there for the call. And thanks for coming by on your lunch hour. And get out of here and stop talking.
All right. Should be a great game. See you later, man.
There we go. Kelly Bowler, head coach at Johns Creek. He's going to go and do lunch now. And definitely that's the other part in all of this, that today, because of 285 being shut down, it wouldn't be the Georgia DOT if it wasn't. It literally would not be the Georgia DOT if you did not have an instance like this, legitimately, if you did not have this moment. So you have that coming up today. If you are following a game, please leave early. Please leave earlier than you necessarily would, especially if you are having to go over the top end. Friday Follies is one thing. Friday Follies, when they're shutting down 285, is something else entirely. And so this is the warning from those of us who are not GA 511ers. This is those of us who've been in this traffic. You might be coming into town for the first time. If the top end is going to be crazy, it's going to be crazy earlier, because if, as Kelly says, they're shutting it down at 6 o'clock, then that's a problem. If you got games later tonight, leave a little early. Since it's a lunch hour, if you need a note, I'll be more than happy to send a note to your athletic directors or your principals or anything like that. Let me know. I'll shoot them a note. We'll go from there. All right. So that is the rundown. Leave early. We'll go over that coming up in just a little bit. Yesterday, before he was leaving East Hall to head to Dexter to get ready for East Hall and West Lawrence, we caught up with another one of the coaches that is going to be a very, very busy individual coming up today with travel, going into Atlanta, heading down to Macon, working your way out to, actually, I think he gives us his travel plan coming up in a bit. But Alec Zimmerman, the head coach at East Hall, getting ready for their matchup against West Lawrence. We caught up with him, and he found the highest point on campus to catch up with us. Here's our interview as East Hall is getting ready to take on West Lawrence. Here's the view from the top at East Hall. So if I told you were going to be in a semifinal and traveling to Dexter, what would you have told me?
From the start of the season, I think we really did believe it's like this team is capable of going, making that big run, making it to the final. So, I think we would have believed we can make the semifinal. I'm not sure we would have known that it was in Dexter. And that's not an insult to West Lawrence or anything. I think we just, for most of us, we think so much about Dalton and Hall County as hotbeds of soccer that, it is what it is. But I think it's a cool opportunity. You get to see more of the state, get to play the beautiful game. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, you survived a couple of different gauntlets. You go through the Hall County gauntlet in round number 2. You go from the coast in round number 1, and then a Coney County there in Watkinsville. What has this ride been like in the postseason?
Yeah, it's been a lot of emotions for sure. I don't know if you know Coach Dix. He's a legendary basketball coach here at East Hall High School. He called it the Magical Mystery Revenge Tour since we played Johnson and Oconee County in our regular season. Both of those teams came here to our place. They got us here and came back in the playoffs, took them down. So
when you look at the record, I know that you like to kind of schedule things to where you're challenged in non-region schedule. Everybody sits there and looks at 12 and 8. They look at power rankings. What did you learn about yourself early on in the year when you go to Clark Central and you go to Gainesville? And you go to
yeah, I knew that from the very beginning for this year. It's like we have big ambitions for this team, and since I've come in and all that, people know like this team has a lot of talent, and so the best way to get the most out of that talent, I feel like, is to schedule those tough games. I got my coaching start over at Clark Central. I was an assistant there for a couple of years, so I know it's like this is a team that's perennially like up at that top of 5A. You know, they're going to be good. So I want to see like, you know, old stomping ground. How does my new set of guys compare, you know? And it was a close game. It was a tough test, you know. I wish we could have come out with the result, but all of those games, you know, Clark Central, Gainesville, North Forsyth, Johnson, Oconee, everything in the regular season built us up. So, you know, now when we get a game like that in the playoffs, like we've seen it. We know what to expect.
What's the lesson that you took from your time under Coach Aiken that has stuck with you the most?
Long throw-ins by far, you know. It sounds kind of silly, but at least when I was playing high school ball back at North Hall, the fact that we had anybody who'd take a throw in that was more than 15 yards, I was like, okay. But it wasn't really till I got to Clark Central and got to see, you know, other teams like North Oconee, Oconee County, maybe we play McIntosh in the playoffs, and like, oh, this long throw is consistently a weapon. You know, you can use that anywhere that's like within 20 yards of the goal, use it as a set piece, you know? So it, I think, is one of the biggest changes, as I understand from when I came in. Like maybe we weren't doing that beforehand, but now it's like, if we get that opportunity, yes, absolutely. We want to launch that thing in.
So you're a Brickyard grad. You're at East. You go up against Johnson. I'm trying to think of who else I've missed here. For someone who hasn't seen Hall County soccer and what it means to everybody up there, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, Hall County soccer is just, it's incredible, right? The one thing that I wish like any big Georgia high school sports fan could see would be a Gainesville-Johnson game. To see 3,000 people out at a soccer game, you know, this year on a Thursday night. You know, you got guys dressed up like in Messi and Mbappe costumes standing outside the game. Like, it's incredible. There is so much passion for the game. And I know like we're in football country, right? Like it's SEC country. Everybody loves that. But, you know, if you're like a real sports fan, like you want to go out and seek as many opportunities to see, you know, communities getting involved, doing that kind of stuff, you go see that. Like there's so much passion. And that game gets picked out because obviously it gets the most attention. But, you know, equally, you go to Chestatee community, West Hall, Flowery Branch. Like, there's so much passion. It's unreal.
When, you know, you have all of this concentrated in one space, I think that it's really an underrated and an underreported part of the state. And that's why we like to go up there as much as possible, whether we're doing derbies or what have you. It's always been fun for us to experience it. What has it been like for you to see it grow and evolve from when you were a player to now where you're a coach and you have, you know, 38 schools just going after each other every single time?
Yeah, I'll say definitely as a player, I kind of was in like the last good North Hall team, and then North Hall sort of fell off. So, you know, other teams would come to us and be like, oh, well, you're North Hall, right? Like you're not going to beat us. There's not the same level of passion that's perceived out there. Even though I think that's totally wrong, there's still plenty of guys who love the game out there. But, you know, it's incredible how much it's grown. Like, I know people maybe talk sometimes about like the professionalization of youth sports, but 10 years ago, I'm a senior playing soccer for North Hall. And, now I come in and I'm like, wow, there's photographers, student photographers getting experience at every game. And there's videographers, and, the routines and the rituals have just developed that much more and more, so that these kids are really getting like as much of the experience as possible. I think it's an awesome opportunity. I'm really glad that they get to enjoy that to the max.
No doubt. What has study hall been like getting ready for West Lawrence?
So yesterday we had just like a film practice, right? We went through, we've seen some of their games, and then I always go through, I'll make up a report, usually somewhere like 4 to 7 pages or so on each team. Like, here's the formation, here's the tactics, here's what we think the lineup's going to be like, here's just little things that they do. If I get a report from any other coach, like, here's what they say. Hopefully the kids read it. I know maybe it's longer than some of the essays they write, but I just want to make sure that they have every resource and tool available so that when they go into that game, they know just about here's everything that you can see, so they're prepared.
What are you the most confident about from your perspective going into this, and what do you think is your biggest challenge going into this?
I think most confident in our ability to withstand adversity. That's one of the number one things that I've always told these guys, especially, we're returning pretty much the same group from last year. We only had 2 seniors graduate. And at the time, we didn't really have anybody who played varsity ball. So we had to kind of learn lessons about this is what it means to play varsity soccer. Here's what you can expect. Sometimes there are going to be setbacks. Maybe the referee makes a decision you don't like. Maybe someone fouls you, but it's not given. Maybe they score a goal or score 2 goals, but how do you react? And at this point, especially like you mentioned earlier, all the teams that we've played, we've faced adversity, not just, in some of those decisions, but we also know what it's like to play tough teams. So now that we're in this position, there's pretty much nothing that can come at us that we haven't seen at some point over these last couple of years. I think one of the biggest things that we would be concerned about is just, we've kind of done a crash course on West Lawrence for ourselves in the last couple of days. You have this conversation with me, Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. I don't know anything about him yet. So I've just kind of had to try and learn as much as possible in as short as time as possible with this quick turnaround.
For someone who hasn't seen you this year, when someone wanders into Dexter to watch this match, who are those players that folks are going to gravitate toward on your side to sit there and go, oh, okay, I can watch A, B, C, D, or E?
Mm-hmm. I would tell you number 10, Jairo Aldako, forward, senior, captain, leader. He's had some big goals in some of our matches earlier this season. He helped ice the game versus Oconee County. That 2-0 goal the last few minutes. He's a fun guy. He can dribble, he can shoot, he's got speed, but he's just a great personality, great leader. Similarly, number 4 in the back, Gio Santana, center back, unreal. Like, it's hard to believe that he's a junior with the level of leadership, maturity, everything that he possesses. And then I'd be, I have to shout out Christian Velasquez, my goalkeeper, especially you go through penalty shootout versus Johnson, saving 2 penalties. The fans for the last game had a pink out for him because he wears a pink jersey. So, key figure.
Very cool. And since you mentioned this, I'll ask this one as my last question. What is the fan support like, and what has it been like during this postseason running here?
It's been unreal. Ever since, I would say, early March, we started having the basketball team show up because all my soccer guys would go to the basketball playoff games. So they wanted to repay the favor. And that sort of spread more and more. So, we come to that Johnson game. We've got, I don't know, maybe 150 students there or so. Oconee County, hour and a half drive away for some of these guys. We've still got about 100 kids show up. I know there's going to be a loaded fan bus coming down to Dexter tomorrow night. So, the support is unreal, and it really does motivate these guys, just that extra mile. Because I know it gets tough when you're 3 hours away, but if you got 80 friends coming to help support you, even when you're that far away, it's unreal.
What time is kick down at West Lawrence?
So it'll be 6 p.m. tomorrow night.
Okay, so you're probably leaving second period and heading down. What's the travel plan?
Yeah, we're going to stop down in Athens because obviously Clark Central got the connections there still. Take a second, game walk through, hopefully make healthy decisions when we go get lunch, You never know with high schoolers. We tried Subway when we went down to Savannah. Apparently that was a problem. So we'll see what we can do.
Well, as the number 7 team that you've made this rush, it's been a great run for you, and a power rank 18 going to West Lawrence, team number 3. We're looking forward to this, and we'll keep an eye on it. Thanks for the great season. Thanks for dropping in, and thanks for doing all of the Jenga to make this happen up there at East Hall. I really appreciate this, Alex. Safe travels. We'll be keeping an eye on you.
Thank you.
That's Alec Zimmerman, the head coach at East Hall. They are heading down to West Lawrence on the right-hand side of your brackets. We'll go through all the brackets coming up in just a little bit. Okay. We'll go ahead and run through the intersection a little early. I have no problem with this. I caught up with Rob Brunel, the head coach at Irwin County, shot him an email last night, and was trying to figure out, okay, where in Irwin County is the school and the email and all this. I literally Google searched my you-know-what off trying to find how to get in touch with Rob. And Rob called me this morning, and literally we've been kind of doing this on the hop ever since. Luke Winstall and I are going to be calling the Class A matches over at Upson Lee, and so it was twofold. I wanted to get intel from Rob about Irwin County. We're going to talk about Irwin County. We're going to talk about Osceola. We're going to talk about what the season's been like in the team and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it was, a chance to kind of touch back on some touchstones of ours here inside the studio space here in Atlanta. So I'm going to bring Rob in, and we're going to talk about Irwin County soccer. How are you, sir?
I am fine. How are you, John?
Doing all right. I've got to ask you before we leave, where do my wife and I get the Irwin County soccer gear so we can show it off up here in Atlanta?
Well, I got a text just briefly from one of my Booster Club parents for their Irwin shirt. So if you just send me a size, I think we can make that work out. But,
hey, look, and the boss will wear it before me. Literally, she'll sit there, something will come in, and I'll open it up, and she'll sit there and go, "Ooh, that looks great." And I said, "All right, fine. Yeah, I know who's getting that first."
I know that feeling for sure.
Yes, sir. I wanted to touch base on a couple of different things. First off, left-hand side of the bracket, a lot of folks were looking at Screven County all season long. They're putting up big offensive numbers, and they're unbeaten, and they're just, gangbusters. Right. Going into the matchup against Screven County in the semifinals, left-hand side of the bracket, what were you most confident about, and what concerned you the most going in?
I was really confident, excuse me, more or less about, I thought that we were more athletic a little bit all the way around the field. I like the way we moved the ball. I felt like that, we could generate some of the offense that we wanted and kind of get in positions that we needed. I thought we started really slow, which is a problem of ours sometimes. But that was really, I felt like looking at the overall matchup, I felt like we were pretty good in that spot. Now, as far as what concerned me a bit was really just, they're feisty. They play hard. They're really organized defensively. And I noticed, when they get up on a goal, they drop some folk backs, and it's tough. It's like, trying to beat it through a brick wall back there. They're just so organized with it. And the goalkeeper was surprising. I mean, the goalkeeper was a bit of a surprise. I didn't, I thought, that I thought she was maybe a little short, but she was athletic, made some great saves and stuff. So those are the two things that I think I looked at the most.
Then you go down, you're down 1-0 in this one. What was the conversation like at halftime, down 1-0, and in this matchup that was in your place over at Buddy Nobles and Osceola? What was the conversations like?
Well, more or less what we weren't doing. I mean, we were, we saw the defensive shape that they put themselves in, and we just were not. We were a little late to the ball, a little late with our touches, indecisive with what we wanted to do. So we talked about, being a little more decisive, looking to switch the field a little more. And not so much north-south runs as making some east-west runs. We were, little straight ahead. We needed some more diagonal balls and more, switch of the field and some diagonal runs off of that. So once we kind of got into that groove a little bit, then everything kind of fell into place. And I felt like we maintained possession very well the second half. It was just a matter of could we put one in the back of the net or not. And like I said, their keeper made a couple of big saves on balls that I really thought were going to find the back of the net. So.
I mean, then you get the one, and I think if memory serves, when was the go-ahead goal with less than 10 to go?
Yeah, I think about 8 minutes left, something like that. Mm-hmm.
So you end up getting the go-ahead goal. You're up 2-1, and you've got to close it out for that final 8 minutes or so. What are you like on the touchline in that final 8 minutes? Since it's the only thing that's in your control is traffic copping and possible substitutions. What's it
Right.
like for you on the touchline navigating that final 8 minutes?
Well, I had a couple of my girls that weren't, had kind of like a stomach bug, so I was a little concerned about how long they were going to be able to make it up on the field. My concern was that we would fall into the problem we did with Atlanta Classical on Monday. When we got up, we dropped back too far and opened up the middle a good bit. So my concern was to make sure that we did not make that mistake again. So I was really pushing and staying on the girls about keeping kind of a high line and spending more time in controlling the middle instead of trying to drop back and defend the game. I mean, to me, that's always a mistake when you do that and you get back and you're not used to heavy defending. You kind of get lost in things. And I tried to let my girls know that we just need to stick with what we've been doing and just be a little more cautious through the middle.
18-1 this year. The loss was to Thomasville. And we know what Thomasville brings to the table. They're insane.
Yeah.
And we've talked to both of their staffs on the boys and the girls sides this season as well. What did you learn about yourself in that game against Thomasville that helped you going forward? What happened there?
Well, we knew, they were strong. And that's kind of why I put them on the schedule. Our biggest issue for us all year has been we don't get complacent with what we do. So we needed a good, strong team. And Thomasville showed us that we had some weaknesses in our back and on our flank a little bit. So we were able to really learn from that, make some better adjustments on that. And then also, they kind of sped us up. They played a quicker game, moving. And that's something we have been looking forward to or trying to get to ourselves. And I think it just showed us that we had a long way to go. And I think the loss at that point in time in the season really caused my girls to focus back down to realize that, maybe we aren't as good as we think we are, kind of thing.
I mean, hey, look, you take those lessons, you go forward, and you're now playing for a state championship. What folks may not know is Region 2 in Class A D2. To me, it's a really cool region to look at because of, and we talk about this up here on the network a lot, when it comes to and I'm going to use air quotes, and it's $1 in the jar, atypical soccer towns.
Mm-hmm.
Because your region is it's Atco in Pearson, and Atco makes runs deep into the playoffs. It's like because they're hidden over in the wiregrass, it's like you're not quite to Waycross and you're not quite to Douglas. So everybody's thinking of maybe Ware County or Clinch or Coffee, and Atco is right there. You guys are right there. A lot of folks might be focused on, say, Tift or Fitzgerald or something like that in other sports. Brooks is now an up-and-coming team. We got to catch up with their head coach earlier this year as well. And so you're seeing a region that really is causing some problems for folks when it comes to Class A Division II with what the three of you guys are doing down there.
Yeah, I think, those two teams you mentioned right there always provide a good, strong battle for us. And we understand, or I understand, that the work rate we have to put here to compete with the, let's call them, upper level state teams from out of Atlanta are certainly our road is not the same as theirs. I mean, they have a lot more ability to get trainers and play smaller games and indoor and the rec departments are a lot stronger in the sport. And of course, soccer down in the South this area is I won't say it's relatively new, but there's some situations where we're behind the eight ball, I guess I say, for a little bit. But we just, I spent 22 years at the college level coaching at different places and seeing things. So bring a lot of that knowledge to kind of push on the girls that we have to do here. But like I said, when you're playing in Atkinson County, you're playing a Brooks, and you're playing those teams with the kids that they get in there, and you see a lot of Hispanics on both of those teams, which is that's the sport they live and die by most of the time. So I think that, we just really have to focus on what we do well and kind of, do that. And then if we bring it to the table, we bring it to the table, which we've been able to do this year.
What's it been like to see the program grow across the board there at Irwin County?
I don't say it's been surprising. We've had some really people that have been really dedicated for years down in the rec department and kids coming through the middle school. So we knew that when I came over here, which I guess 5 years ago, we had a good feeder system of things coming in. And so it's been exciting to see those kids early on through middle school, kind of come on up into the high school. And I know when they were in middle school, I think they went 3 or 4 years and they didn't lose a ball game. So I think when they lost their first one at high school, it's kind of a shocker for them. But to see those kids develop and then really the dedication and the time they put in is tremendous. So it's been good.
Rob Brunel, head coach on the girls' side at Irwin County, getting ready to take on the winner of Tryon and Portal. Portal probably had to leave yesterday about midnight to get up to Tryon for this matchup today. Time to brag on your team a little bit. Defensively, you're averaging like 0.85 goals against this year. It's you're not averaging giving up a goal a game. What has it been about this defense of yours that has gotten you to this point?
Well, it's actually kind of new a little bit defensively. My central defender was a midfielder for me the last 2 years. So we pushed her to the back. And so, early on we had some communication issues, but lately communication's been well. So that group's done a really good job. And we had a rotation of goalkeepers back there at a senior, Emma Raffield, who did a really good job through the year early. And then the freshman Anna Fletcher has come on big the last couple of weeks. She was huge in the game yesterday. She was huge in the game on Monday. So I think just they're getting a lot more familiarity with each other, has really kind of made it strong back there. And we have our moments. We have our moments, but at the same time, their communication level has been pretty good. And that allows us a little more offensive push when we realize those girls can hold it back there. And like I said, there's a senior on the outside, there's a junior in the middle, and there's another junior on the outside. So you got a little age there that kind of helps you.
Yep, and you've scored 120 goals this year in those 19 matches. I know that non-region is a contributor to that, but
right.
When you're in region play, you got the pedal down there too. When someone walks into Upson Lee and sees you take on either Tryon or Portal Friday at 4:00 in the afternoon, who are some of those folks that are going to gravitate toward when they wander in for this match?
Well, I think you're first going to have to gravitate probably to Avery Connor. She's put a bunch of goals in the back of the net this year, and that shot she took yesterday against Screven from about 30 out and put it in the corner was an absolutely magnificent shot. So I think you've got to certainly be wary of her. Caroline Harper's another one you got to be aware of in the middle. She's just real creative with the ball. Kind of our general in the middle. I have to get her for being too unselfish. Sometimes she should be selfish and take some shots. She's too busy trying to distribute people. But, those are the big ones. The goalkeeper, of course, you got to look at. I think we're kind of really a whole as a team unit. And then I got a senior up top who's she's a machine and she just works all day up and down that field. So if you're picking a couple, I think, Avery, Caroline, and Sassy Mixon are going to be the ones you really got to focus on because they can really wreak some havoc if they get going.
And if I remember correctly, Sassy scored the game winner last time out against ACA, if I remember correctly.
She did. Yep. On a quick transition, she broke through, and she's 5'8", 5'9" kid, big, strong. She's strong. She's just strong, and she's hard to get off the ball. And when she gets her head of steam going, she's faster. I won't say she's faster than look. She's got good wheels. So when she gets going, you're just not going to move her off the ball. She's really good with that. So.
Are you going to just basically take today and focus on yourself, or are you going to try and find a place to see if anybody's got Tryon and Portal on video, or what are you going to do?
I've got Tryon and Portal on video. I'll be sitting down and watching that this evening. I've watched tape on both of them already. Watched a game already this morning. So I'll be picking some things up to kind of, prep us a game plan and for next week. And then we've got a trip to either Valdosta or Colquitt. We're going to go down there and play on their turf field to get some practice because we've not played on turf all year.
Okay.
So we're going to work on that. So it's never a slow down, stop moment for me. I'm on the go all the time. So
I can definitely relate and understand that here with a week to go before a title game. Coach, I can't thank you enough for dropping in and educating everybody on what's going on down there in Ocilla at Irwin County. And obviously, like I said, Luke and I will be there on the call on NFHS Network. Looking forward to it. Don't be a stranger. Thanks for dropping by and educating everybody on what's going on down there in Ocilla. Be safe and go get some lunch.
All right, John, I appreciate you to have me on. Thank you, sir.
All right, there he goes.
All right, bye.
Rob Brunel, the head coach at Irwin County. And so kept him for entirely too long. He's probably going to pop me in the back of the head when he sees me in Thomaston on Friday. He's like, dude, what are you doing? I got lunch. I got lunch to get into. But no, it's great to catch up with Coach. And like I said, Luke Winstall and I are going to be at Upson Lee. We're going to call the Class A, D1, and D2 matches for the GHSA and the NFHS Network. So we'll be there for those. It'll be, I think it's Maddie and Jason. They're going to be at Duluth through Thursday. And then Justin Hanover and Nick Alifi are going to be anchored at St. Pius until Friday. And then they move over to Duluth to take over because Jason has to go to Orlando for Atlanta United coverage. And Maddie, I believe, has stuff going on with her club that is up in Woodstock. So Georgia Impact. So I think Maddie's got impact duty. I know Jason's going to Orlando. So the broadcast pairings, me and Luke Winstall at Upson Lee on Thursday and Friday next week. Anything leading up to Friday at Duluth is going to be Maddie and Jason. Then Maddie goes to Impact. Jason goes to Bigger Than a Bread Box, Orlando, Purple Team. And then Justin Hanover and Nick Alifi, they're going to be at St. Pius. Then they're going to roll over to Duluth, and they're going to let you know what's going on there. So that is the rundown as we know it for who is going to do what where. And so now you're sitting there going, okay, so what are we staring at? And I do want to try and see if I can. I haven't downloaded that one yet, have I? I thought I did. Yeah, I did. Okay. So I have Jason's comments about what he was looking for in both the boys and the girls side. And I'm going to apologize ahead of time if everything collides and it ends up with his segment popping on while I'm in the middle of talking. So I'm going to apologize ahead of time and let you know that okay, so this is how we do it. All right, so what I'm going to do is you're going to see once again how the sausage is made. So here is how this works. And it is an opportunity. Jason and I caught up yesterday afternoon, and we tried to break everything down and what he thought about the boys and the girls sides and what it was going to look like and how competitive it is. When this is done, what we will do is we will come back and we'll go through brackets, and Justin Brantley from Islands is going to be joining us at 1 o'clock after his senior duty. I believe they had lunchroom, field trippy kind of thing from 11 to 12. This gives Coach Brantley the opportunity to go back to campus and catch his breath a little bit. And then after that, then it will be an opportunity to catch up with him about Islands and find out what's going on the boys' side there. Once again, tonight, it is an opportunity for us to be at two places at once. It is going to be Marist at Dalton, and that one is going to be on with Maddie and Jason up in Dalton. And then it's going to be me at Decatur for Johns Creek and Decatur tonight. And so we'll have those for you on SDH1 and SDH2. So it will be a great opportunity for us to be in two places at once with the boys and how it's going to look for them in the semifinals. Like I said, when Jason's analysis is over, we'll come back. We'll go through brackets, have Justin Brantley come on at 1 o'clock, and then we'll break everything down with him and what's been going on at Islands and their run that they have had over the last little bit, and look at everything that Islands has been doing since we've seen them since Creek Cup, and they've worked their way over to boys bracket. John, you're not looking at a girls bracket to talk about a boys team. So look at how things have been for Islands as they work their way through in the AAA bracket on the left-hand side, ranked number 2, and it's going to be Jefferson chasing after 2 titles. So since we got to catch up with Alec Zimmerman from East Hall, it's going to be an opportunity to go to the other half of that bracket and let everybody know what's going on there with Islands and Jefferson coming up around the corner for the opportunity to play for the AAA title. Number one, Islands has been there number one or number two all season long, and so it's been a great run for them. And they've gotten to do it at home, which has also been big because they're number one in the power rankings. And so we'll discuss what it's been like to be there to do all of that and be there for that particular, game. So, all right, now that we've uploaded the thing. So, all right, so now we're going to add the media. So this is how we do it. So add video, and we go here. High school. We have the first day of 2 when it comes to the semifinals. It is today, and it is the girls' side today, boys' side tomorrow, and it looks like we're going to be in 2 places tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And girls' side, you look at matchups and just buzzing through brackets. I mean, Class A D1, you've got 4 of the top 5 in the rankings. You got the same in Class A Division 2. Pike County boys and girls are doing gangbusters, and you've got once again 3 of the top 4, and then number 7 in AA. And you've got some old friends that might be paired up in AAA if certain things go. When you look at the playoffs, what has stuck in your head so far as we've gotten to this point?
I mean, Monday I had a chance to go up to Rome and see Model play on the girls' side, and they were great. The 6-0 win over Jeff Davis, and this is I love seeing these kind of stories, and that's why I wanted to go to that game specifically because, you always wonder, it's a single A school. It's in Rome, Georgia. You wonder what it's going to feel like. And it felt like Rome, Georgia embracing soccer. It was very cool. They had their own things that they did, their own sounds that they played. When the team scored a goal, they had stuff going on with the PA. They had a bunch of friends and family and all that in the building, and you had noise, and it was cool. It was a good win for the team, but I love the feeling of it. They were very good, and they've got, I think, a lot of young players in that group. You mentioned Pike County. They've been really good lately. 3A, Johnson of Gainesville, a team that we followed on the boys' side quite a bit. Their girls have just constantly gotten better every single year, and they're in their first Final Four. It's a tough trip for them over to Oconee County, but the fact that they've got here and they're continuing to progress, that's awesome to see. It could be an Oconee County Jefferson final in 3A, 2 programs that know one another very well. 2 of the top programs. Jefferson has been so close so many times. Can they get that trophy this year? Going through Oconee County, if Oconee County gets through Johnson, that's not going to be easy. 4A, you look at that one, it is your private schools, which you would expect, but then Midtown is in the mix. They're hosting Blessed Trinity tonight.
Yep.
Westminster at Marist, 2 teams that know one another extremely well. 5A, Greenbrier, is this the year for them to kind of get over that hump? From the Augusta area, Pope's got to go over there in a semifinal. Roswell and Chambly is a great semifinal on the other side of the bracket. 6A has been tough because I think the 2 teams that we thought were the best 2 in the state from what we saw played in the quarterfinal.
Yeah.
You heard that on the network on Monday. West Forsyth getting through with their win. They host Denmark tonight. Harrison hosting Walton. Walton has been top. West Forsyth has been top. Brookwood has been top. If it's a West Forsyth Walton final, now Walton's got to go on the road.
Yes.
That's still unbelievable game coming up next week. On the private side, and it's always interesting now that you have the smaller private schools broken out into their own section, and you don't have like Marist and Westminster and Blessed Trinity are in the 4A. It's always kind of weird when you see some of the matchups and you wonder how it will go. And like you saw Paideia get to the quarterfinals, couldn't get past that. Wesleyan and Lovett on that side of the bracket feels like a really difficult one over there.
1 versus 2 and 4 versus 5.
Yeah, really difficult on that side. But all I know is tomorrow I'm going to Soccer Town, USA. Dalton. I am looking forward to it. 4A Semifinal, Marist at Dalton. How many state championships between those two? A whole bunch. Dalton has been over, I mean, really since 2021, I think they've been the best team in the state in all classifications in terms of consistency, in terms of getting to state championships, in terms of deep runs, talent, all of it. They have been the most consistent. But it's Marist. You know, like it's not easy. It's going to be a tough trip for Marist. St. Pius found that out against Dalton on Tuesday night. They couldn't get through Dalton. Dalton hosting Marist tomorrow, Midtown, at Walnut Grove on the other side of 4A. 5A, the other one that we know well is Johns Creek, and I believe you are planning on that one. Is that done?
Yeah, I think it's done, considering that I just got an email from one of the members of the athletic department sitting here saying that we're interested in coordinating with the GHSA, and that is both true and true. So
okay. So Johns Creek at Decatur also on the network tomorrow. That's a big game. Johns Creek has been great this season, and we had a chance to see them really early on. They had to kind of battle through the first round, getting through Woodward, but then a 7-0 win over Habersham Central, a 7-1 win over Riverwood on Tuesday. You had that one. Now they go to Decatur, and then on the other side, River Ridge, back-to-back state championships. They're hosting Gainesville, who's been a little bit of a surprise.
And River Ridge gets through McIntosh on the air.
Yeah, River Ridge had to get through McIntosh, which was not easy and was chaotic. They had a little bit easier time of it in the quarterfinal against Dunwoody. I mean, if it's River Ridge, Johns Creek, they both know each other really well. Decatur can absolutely play spoiler on that, even though they're at home. I think I'd call them the underdog in this game. River Ridge will be the favorite at home. Gainesville was third in their region. They've made a great run. Mm-hmm. I think it'll be tough for them to go to River Ridge and get that win. That will be a wild game in the 5A. Both semifinals should be wild. Whatever we get in the final should be great. So I'm really looking forward to some of this. The other story that we would love to see is another team we had a chance to see earlier this season at the Creek Cup, Islands. Mm-hmm. They're hosting a semifinal tomorrow night. Jefferson's got to make the long trip down to Islands. Islands could absolutely be in a state championship game in Duluth in 3A coming up next week.
I did the math on Red Clay. Jefferson will have traveled in their last 3 rounds, if you include the matchup to Islands.
Ooh, yeah, I'm looking at it now. Wow.
A total of 1,298 miles from Jefferson to Tunnel Hill and back.
They hosted Johnson of Savannah.
Yeah.
In round 1. Then they went to Northwest Whitfield and won 3-1.
Yeah. Then they go to Bainbridge.
Then they went to Bainbridge and won 4-1. Now they got to go to Islands. See if they can get through that one.
1,298 miles on those 3 trips.
Duluth would be an easy trip for them if they can get to that point.
Yeah, just go down 316.
That one's pretty smooth, but Island's the number 1 team in 3A. That is gonna be a tough one for Jefferson.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on Coach Brantley and seeing if we can catch up with him at some point as well.
An Eagles Landing grad, I will add.
Mm-hmm. So it's been fun to see Islands continue to grow under Justin Brantley. And there is the rundown with the conversation that we had with Jason. So that is the Jason Longshore conversation that we had yesterday, in case you missed it on SDHPM. So let's go over the brackets as we know them and get you ready for what we know and what's going to happen today. And Justin Brantley set to join us in about 10 minutes. So we'll go over everything we know and we'll lay it all out for you. And the way that I'm going to do this on the girls' side is by start time. And so Tuesday at 5, AAA girls. And by the way, Judson Hamby is going to join us Monday morning at 9:30 on the morning show. Oconee County over Johnson Gainesville, number 1 over number 7 by the final of 3-0. So Oconee County advances. They move over. Jefferson at home beat Dawson County by the score of 5-0. So number 2 over number 9. So it is number 1 Oconee County, number 2 Jefferson. Tuesday, 5 o'clock. Bookham Dano Aloha. That one is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. Private girls Tuesday at 5. It's going to be Holy Innocents and Wesleyan. Holy Innocents, 4-3 winners over GAC. So number 4, Holy Innocents, is going to take on number 1, Wesleyan. Leavitt went to Wesleyan and lost by the score of 3-1. So Wesleyan, Holy Innocents, number 1 versus number 4, Tuesday, 5 o'clock for private girls. Wednesday at 5A girls. It is Roswell and Chambly playing last night. Chambly knocks off number 2 Roswell. Number 7 Chambly over number 2 Roswell. Final there was 2-1. Chambly advances. They're going to take on Greenbrier. Rob Houston's going to join us batting leadoff on Monday, and that is going to be Red Clay Monday at noon. So Rob Houston's going to join us to discuss this matchup as they get ready for Wednesday. So Greenbrier at number 6, Chambly at number 7. They have made it through, and so that is Wednesday at 5 o'clock, 5A girls right there. Wednesday at 5 o'clock, AA girls. It is going to be the winner of Pike County and Columbus. That one is today, going up against Coahulla Creek. Shannon Coley and their crew, they hosted Union County, survived that one 1-0. So you have number 3 Coahulla Creek going to take on the winner of number 1 Pike County, number 2 Columbus. And remember that relationship that you have teacher and pupil. The head coach for Columbus playing for Justin Osteen at Pike County. Now she's the head coach at Columbus. And so number 1 versus number 2 winner of that one gets number 3 Coahulla Creek. AA girls at 5 o'clock next week. 6A girls, it's West Forsyth and Walton. Thursday at 5 o'clock, West Forsyth and Walton. Craziness in 6A on the girls' side. West Forsyth knocked off Brookwood to get to take on Denmark. Number 3 West Forsyth over number 8 Denmark by the final of 6-0. So West Forsyth advances, and they're going to take on Walton. Jason Page and their crew went to Harrison last night and got the 2-0 win there. West Forsyth and Walton, 2 heavyweights, 6A. Crazy final there in 6A. Thursday at 4, this is where Luke Winstall and I dive in, and it is Thomasville and Model. Thomasville is going as the number 3 team after beating Lamar County by the final of 6-1. So Thomasville is going to go in, and they're going to take on number 1 Model, who shut out Ace Charter at Ace Charter by the score of 1-0. And so Thomasville, number 3, Model, number 1, Class A Division I girls. That one Luke Winstall and I will have on NFHS Network Thursday at 4 o'clock. Friday at 5. Actually, let's do Friday at 4 first. Friday at 4 o'clock, Class A Division II girls, Irwin County. We caught up with Coach Brunel, and they're going to wait. They're going to find out Tryon and Portal. That one is today. We'll go over start times in a bit. Irwin ranked number 3, and they knocked off Screven County. We got to talk to Coach about that win, and they're going to wait for the winner of Tryon and Portal. So number 3, Irwin County is going to take on either number 10 Portal, who scored 12 against Atco in the quarterfinals, or Tryon, who shut out GMC at GMC 4-0. So Irwin County waits. Rob Brunel's watching, and so he'll have his answer for Upson-Lee Friday at 4 o'clock. That one, Class A Division II. And then Friday at 5 o'clock, BT and Marist in the Quad A girls. It is going to be BT after beating Midtown by the score of 3-0. Number 2, Blessed Trinity, taking on number 1, Marist. Marist shutting out Westminster by the score of 3-0. So BT and Marist, that one is Quad A girls, and that one is 5 o'clock on Friday. Now, boys matchups. And as I'm going back and forth with Micah Aiken here from Marist to try to help out Maddie and Jason, we'll try to get those numbers for you coming up here in a bit. Okay, so Islands, Justin Brantley coming up here allegedly in about 5 minutes. It'll be hang on just a second. So let's see. Okay. All right. So working Micah Aiken. All right. So So that, and I'll. All right. So no. All right. So. All right. So like I said, sausage. All right. So, all right. AAA boys. Here we go. It is Islands and Jefferson. That one is later today. West Lawrence and East Hall. That is AAA boys. And so that is catching up with East Hall. We caught up with Coach Zimmerman earlier in the show. And so East Hall goes to West Lawrence. They're going to be in Dexter. And Jefferson is heading to Islands at number 4, taking on number 2. Class A Division II boys. Metter, your number 3 and your number 1 team in Area 3 Atco, after they knocked off Tryon, they are ranked number 2, Area 1, Team 1. And so it will be, so let's see. Let me do this is hang on. So like I said, sausage. Actually, tell you what. So let me do here. So instead of me is, all right. So here, double checking an email address. All right. So here would be, please tell me that this is correct. And that way it can be done. It is. Come on now. You've got this. Nothing like trying to get statistics done while coaches are on the road. All right. So here is. Like I said, I'm trying to get coaches to send things and trying to do it while I'm doing a show. All right. So let's see. So if we do this, it would be. Let's see. All right. So that's there. And it is. Hang on. Yes. Okay. Jason. All right. So that. And. All right. So like I said, sausage. I apologize. All right. So. All right. So that is there. All right. So hopefully that is there. All right. So double A, it's Class A D2 boys. Now that the sausage has been at least made temporarily. So sausage made temporarily. Atco, they are the number 2 team, Area 1, Team 1. They're going to be hosting Metter today as Area 3's Team 1. They're ranked number 5, left-hand side, then Brooks and GMC. That one is at GMC, but remember yesterday, Dustin Jeanette said that's going to be on Monday because Brooks County's graduation is today. So that is on Monday with Brooks and GMC. Double A boys, Savannah Arts and Columbus, and Pierce at Pike County. Columbus knocked off Jordan 3-2. Savannah Arts shut out Drew 1-0. Pike County 3-2 over Crisp. Pierce 1-0 over Hart County. So that one was in Blackshear. So that's your semifinals Double A boys. Model is going to host Thomasville, Class A D1 boys. And Model is ranked number 1. They beat Jasper County 5-0 to get here. Thomasville shut out Bremen 1-0 to get there. Barrow Arts, probably one of the more Cinderella stories that we've seen. Team 11 knocked off Putnam County in Eatonton 2-1. They are going to Armurchie, who beat Ace 4-1. So Barrow and Armurchie. It is Team 11 heading to Team 7, right-hand side of the bracket, Class A D1 boys. 6A, Meadow Creek at Carrollton on the left. It is Carrollton over Peachtree Ridge. Meadow Creek beat Lambert. Right-hand side, Collins Hill knocked off defending champ Campbell. They go to Walton. Walton and Raider Valley knocked off Buford 2-1. So Collins Hill and Walton. Decatur and Johns Creek, once again, that one's on the air. River Ridge hosting Gainesville. That one is right-hand side 5A. Quad A, Marist goes to Dalton. That's on the air as well. Jason and Maddie will have the call for that one. Midtown and Walnut Grove is on the right-hand side. Private boys, AIS is at Whitfield. I think we've seen that one before this year. And then Mount Vernon and Hebron on the right-hand side. And so it is now 103. It is legitimately 103. And that is what Justin Brantley told me. You said 103.
Yes, sir. Prompting to my word.
And you were right on the schnoz at 103.
Yeah, man.
How was senior day?
It is always a trip. We every year they do it's a little fun zone trip. They take the kids and they do got go-karts and an arcade set up. So the kids love that. So from 10 to 12 today, that's where I was riding go-karts and playing mini golf.
And how'd you do?
I unfortunately continue to always get the slowest cart that they have. So I'm just getting lapped by everybody. And then mini golf was about the same. So hopefully my fortune changes this afternoon.
20-2, 9-0 in region, top 25 in the state as you get ready for this one. What has study hall been like getting ready for this one?
Man, it's been a year. It's been a rewarding but very challenging year for sure. We sorry, our school bells sound of course always the case.
It wouldn't be a show without a bell change.
That's right, man. Yeah, I mean, this year has been very, very challenging, very rewarding, though. Great group of kids. Started the season off very hot. Came up to the Creek Cup. Was able to see y'all there, and was able to bring back some hardware. Actually, right there, behind me, I'd love to share it, show it off. But yeah, I mean, it's just a great time, great experience for the boys. And then coming back home and playing, teams like River Ridge, teams like Cambridge, teams that are perennial powerhouses out of the Atlanta area that had the chance to come down here and really gave us a lot of confidence going into our region play, and have just executed to a high clip. And I'm really proud of the boys and excited about tonight.
So you lose the 2 in a row, and this is the question that I always like to ask coaches. Not every win's 100%, not every win's an A+, and not every loss is an F.
Yeah.
So what did you learn in the Benedictine and May River losses that has helped you out from there going forward?
So with Benedictine, it's always a challenge. Their field is massive, and when I say massive, most high school fields are within 65 to maybe 70 yards wide. Ours is like roughly 68. Theirs is a little over 80.
Wow.
So you're playing on what seems like a giant square at times. And so, as much as you say it at practice, like, hey guys, we're gonna leave, like let them play on the outside. Like we'll concede the wings, like the width of the field. Let's stay narrow, let's stay compact. And for whatever reason, every single time we play there, we always go down early. So we were down 2-0 in the first 10 minutes of the game. And we're able to rally back, got one right before half, and then just the second half really just dominated, I thought, but wasn't able to get, the game winner. And, with high school soccer now, it's no game ends in a tie. So, since we were different classifications, go straight to PKs. First 4 guys on both teams make it. Our 5th misses, their 5th makes it, and that's the game. So, that game, really taught us that, we could fight back, through adversity and just, giving the boys confidence that, hey, even though we lost, we were able to fight back. May River was a different story. I've watched a lot of soccer in my day. That May River team that they have this year is fantastic. Might be one of the best high school soccer teams I've ever seen in my life. They took a 3-goal lead on us in the first 18 minutes, and we were just never able to get any footing. I mean, they have a fantastic, dominant program. I think last time I checked, they're 19-1. Their only loss being to Wando out of the Mount Pleasant area. So just a really dominant program. Their coach has done a great job in building that program. And there's some intricacies in like high school soccer in Georgia and high school soccer in South Carolina, something that I'd never known. So in Georgia, you have what's like the 3-half rule. So, we always do, or we often do JV high school or JV games before varsity games with some schools. So I'm able to like tinker with the lineup. We only have a total of like 28 guys, that I brought on the trip for our JV and our varsity game. Well, with, like I said, Georgia high school, you have the 3-quarter rule, where with South Carolina, I didn't realize there were different rules. And that's kind of on me, but you're not allowed to play 2 games in a single day. So a lot of the kids that I had swing players that were switch players that, play JV and then, are subs on our varsity team, were not eligible to play in that second game. So now I only have, look on my bench, and I have a backup keeper and a one other sub for the May River game. And it was not a fun night for us, for sure. But no, I mean, after those 2 games, we've found our footing, and we've played really well as a team, and really excited about, again, the opportunity tonight that we have.
I know that at one point you had 15 different goal scorers, which once again speaks to the balance and what you're trying to accomplish over the span of a year. What's it like to have, obviously, someone like J.J. Stein, who is lights out, one of those folks that folks will gravitate toward when they walk in the door, but to have 14 others at least help out when it comes to goal scoring, that you have a lot of folks that have to be accounted for on a daily basis, knowing JJ is going to get keyed on. What's it like to have that balance offensively?
Yeah, I mean, there was one point in the season, I looked on Max Preps, and I think we either had 58 or 68 goals at the time. And, you look through the points total and everything like that. And we did not have a single person on our entire team that had goals in double digits.
Wow.
Which speaks to like the depth and the fact that we have just so many guys contributing in so many different spots. So, our first round, we were able to get 10 on Daugherty or Daughtry, but they were coming from so many different places, right? We had guys, I think 6 guys contributed to the scorebook that game. And then the next game, we have a sophomore who steps up and scores a hat trick against Chastity, who really, needed some confidence going into that game. And so, the next game, you're probably, if you're, our opponent, seeing that kid score a hat trick, you're like, all right, well, let's focus on him. And we turn around and versus Mary Persons have 3 different goal scorers from 3 different kids. One of them being, one of our guys that comes off the bench, and it's just great. You're constantly looking for guys to contribute, and it's not a one-way show. It's a team effort, and again, we're doing a great job of just making sure we find the right spots, who's open, who's available, who can put it in the back of the net, and that's what we've been doing. So. Excited about that.
Tonight, obviously, Jefferson, I know Study Hall has been what it is this week. What are you the most confident about going in? And you can't say the fact that you were undefeated at home at 12-0. You can't use that one.
Yeah.
Then what are you the most concerned about going into this matchup against Jefferson?
Concerned with is the ball is always round. Always in games like this, one small mistake, and it's soccer, right? Like I talked with the basketball coach the other day, who is, he's learning the sport. He's our director, but Jacob Ennis is a great athletic director. But he came out to practice yesterday and was just trying to see how things were, and I was just explaining to him like, yeah, it's completely different game. Like with basketball, you've got guys constantly scoring. Like there's goals, there's shots that fall, right? 3-pointers, and you've got so much scoring throughout the game. Whereas with soccer, all it takes is one little mistake. You've got 80 minutes of play, one bad decision, one wrong turn, one miss alignment, and you're getting an L in the column. So that to me is always a question mark. I think the biggest confidence I have going into our game is our ability to be a team. If you were to come out to our practice and just watch, you could really see that these boys are really connected. They really enjoy being out there. It's just a fun group to be a part of, and a fun group to coach. So just the connectivity between the guys.
What time's kick tonight?
7 o'clock. 7 o'clock.
Okay. And so obviously everyone in the Chatham County area is supposed to go and see you and see that game and make the stands very, very full for a great game. Jefferson's going to travel, so they're going to bring some folks. I can pretty much guarantee it. Number 4 versus number 2 on the left-hand side of the bracket, Class AAA boys. Do you need a note to get to excuse the absence here, or are you okay?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I didn't know if you needed to hand something to the athletic director or to a fill-in teacher. It's like, yes, I was doing a live noon show. So
no, man, I'm good.
Please excuse Brantley from this because of this interview.
Yeah. And speaking to what you said, I mean, like, last year we played Jefferson in the Elite Eight here. We were able to host them as well. And I mean, speaking to what you say about them traveling, they, I looked in the stands halfway through the game, and you look up there and you're hoping to see like so many Island supporters, and I think we were outnumbered maybe 2 or 3 to 1.
Wow.
The number of supporters that Jefferson brought to that game. So today and this week was really a push to try to get guys out, get our student population out. This is our school's 3rd time ever being in the Final Four. Our boys soccer team went in 2021, and our girls softball team went in 2022, but both of those were away. Softball being in Columbus, and our boys were at East Hall. But yeah, if we can, do what we're supposed to do tonight, and hopefully take care of what we're supposed to, that we might see our school's first ever championship appearance. So that's the goal for tonight.
Well, as always, my friend, it's great to see you. I'm glad you survived go-karts and mini golf, and have made it back inside. I know that you're going to be pacing nervously and probably trying to find things to divert your attention until late afternoon, early evening. So as always, great to see you, my friend, and good luck tonight. We will be catching up with you on the flip side of this. It's always great to see you when you can come and visit with us up here in Atlanta.
Yeah, man, and hopefully we make a trip Tuesday to Duluth, and we'll probably stop by Buc-ee's on the way there, and I'll try to put up something. So.
All right, well, be good, Justin. We'll see you soon.
All right, man, take it easy. Thank you.
All right, Justin Brantley, the head coach at Islands, and so he's got a game tonight. So let's go over start times before we get out of here. Columbus and Pike is at 8 o'clock tonight, and it is Portal and Tryon. That one is at 5 o'clock. So those are the matchups that are on the girls' side of things. So the boys' matchups today, just to get your timetables and everything squared away. So, all right. So we go here, and we go here, and we go here. Click, click, and click, and we get our start times. So Barrow and Armurchie is at 6. As well as Savannah Arts Academy and Columbus, Pierce and Pike, East Hall, West Lawrence. Those are at 6 o'clock. Gainesville and River Ridge is at 7, as is AIS and Whitfield, Metter and Atco, Mount Vernon and Hebron Christian. Midtown Walnut Grove is at 7:30, as is Decatur and Johns Creek. Remember, we'll have that one on the network for you. Collinsville and Walton is at 8. Dalton and Marist is at 6:30, and that one is on the network. Also, obviously, West Lawrence, East Hall, Islands, Jefferson, GMC and Mount Zion, Thomasville and Model, and Meadow Creek and Carrollton. So that's your matchups. We went long because we had a lot of stuff to talk about. 2 matches on the network. Once again, Marist at Dalton. That's at 6:30. Maddie and Jason will come on a little before then, and then at 7:30 it is Johns Creek at Decatur. I will have that one for you. Go to soccerdownhere.net, hit the listen tab. You'll see SDH 1 and 2 up and running. And I may even do a live drop-in toward the end of their game and let you know what's going on with them from Live at Decatur. So thanks again to all the coaches that came by and visited. Justin Brantley from Islands, Coach Brunel from Irwin County, Coach Zimmerman from East Hall, and batting leadoff Kelly Bowler from Johns Creek, who we'll see tonight over in downtown Decatur. So that is another round of Red Clay, the last day of the semifinals. Because next week when we do Red Clay on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it's going to be about the finals, and get you ready for that. Don't think we can swing Thursday and Friday considering we've got to be there at a certain time. So be there by 3, leaving here. It would be tight. So we'll see what's going on. We're going to open up the morning show and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to coaches to come on and talk about their championships if they haven't had the chance to already. And so we'll see what's going on after today. So thanks again for joining us, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. And from everybody here to all of you out there, enjoy your games today. We'll catch up with you again Monday morning. We'll catch up with you tonight on the air from Dalton and from Decatur. For Maddie, Jason, everybody else here at SDH, I'm just John. Thanks for dropping by. Since it's the end of the show, that means we get to do this. Go enjoy games tonight. We'll catch up with you on Monday.